There's a pattern that has destroyed every empire in human history. Not war, not invasion, not natural disaster. Something far more predictable. Something that follows the exact same sequence every single time. And right now, in 2025, the United States is showing every warning sign that we're deep inside this pattern, potentially at stage 7 of 8. In 1950, a British Army general named John Bagot Glubb made a discovery that should terrify anyone who loves their country. After studying 11 major empires spanning over 2,000 years, from the Assyrians in 859 BC to the British Empire in 1950, he found something shocking. Every single empire, regardless of technology, government type, or culture, followed the exact same 8-stage pattern from birth to death. The average lifespan, 250 years. 10 human generations. Here's what should keep you awake at night. The United States was founded in 1776. We're 249 years old. We're not approaching the pattern. We're living inside it, and the warning signs are everywhere. But before we dive into where America stands today, you need to understand how this pattern actually works. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. And you'll realize that what's happening to our country right now isn't random. It's not political, it's mathematical. Empires rise and fall according to natural laws as predictable as gravity. The 8-stage empire collapse pattern isn't theory, it's documented history. Stage 1, the Age of Pioneers. A relatively unknown people burst onto the world stage with incredible energy, initiative, and optimism. They fight older empires around them, taking over cities and networks through sheer determination and strong leadership. Think early America, when 13 colonies defeated the British Empire against impossible odds. Stage 2, the Age of Conquests. The empire expands through military might and territorial acquisition. America's westward expansion, the Mexican-American War, the Spanish-American War. We built an empire that stretched from coast to coast and beyond. Stage 3, the Age of Commerce. Military glory gives way to economic focus. The premium shifts from martial honor to boosting the bottom line. The Industrial Revolution, the Gilded Age, America becoming the economic powerhouse of the world. Trade becomes more important than conquest. Stage 4, the Age of Affluence. Wealth builds to such a degree that luxury becomes commonplace. Post-World War II America, suburban prosperity, the American dream available to the middle class. What previous generations considered unimaginable wealth becomes normal. Stage 5, the Age of Intellect. Acquired affluence enables people to pursue the life of the mind. Universities expand, education becomes widespread, and intellectuals begin questioning the values and beliefs of the empire's early leaders. The 1960s counterculture, the expansion of higher education, the rise of academic skepticism toward traditional institutions. Stage 6, the Age of Decadence. People indulge in excessive consumption while becoming less happy. The civilization creates diversions for the populace. Immigration increases beyond effective assimilation levels. New ideas and cultural norms displace those of the founding stock. Sound familiar? But it's stage 7 where things get dangerous. The Age of Decline. Inequality grows explosively. Increasing numbers are excluded from meaningful work and the means to fulfill their potential. Discontent leads to disruption. Political divisions rise above external threats in the public consciousness. Stage 8 is collapse, the final disintegration where the cost of maintaining power vastly outweighs its economic benefit. The system rapidly begins to fall apart. Now here's the terrifying question. Where is America in this sequence? Let's look at the evidence objectively. The heroes of declining empires are always the same. Athletes, singers, actors, rather than statesmen, generals, or literary geniuses. Check. When was the last time you heard young people discussing great political leaders or military strategists? Instead, our cultural focus is on celebrities, influencers, and entertainment figures whose personal lives dominate headlines regardless of their character. Rising inequality creating mass discontent. Check. The wealth gap in America today exceeds that of France before the French Revolution. The top 1% control 32% of total wealth, while millions work multiple jobs just to afford basic housing. Political divisions prioritized over external threats. Check. We're so focused on fighting each other that we've lost sight of genuine national security challenges. Our political system has become more concerned with partisan warfare than addressing the fundamental problems facing our country. Loss of faith in institutions. Check. Trust in Congress sits at 15%. Trust in the Supreme Court is collapsing. Half the population believes elections are rigged. When institutions lose legitimacy, the social contract breaks down. But here's what makes this pattern different from previous empire collapses. America isn't just any empire. We're the global superpower. When Rome fell, it affected the Roman territories. When the British Empire declined, it was a regional transition. When America falls, it affects the entire interconnected world. The economic indicators are flashing red. National debt stands at $34.9 trillion, representing 124.7% of GDP. We're borrowing money to pay interest on previous borrowing. That's the definition of a debt spiral. Our military is overextended across 800 bases in 80 countries, while recruitment numbers plummet and equipment ages beyond replacement capacity. We have commitments we can't fulfill simultaneously if multiple crises emerge. The social fabric is tearing apart. Political polarization has reached levels not seen since the Civil War. 9 out of 10 adults acknowledge conflicts between supporters of different political parties. 7 out of 10 recognize conflicts between people of different racial backgrounds. Meanwhile, our international competitors are rising rapidly. China's economy grew from 1.2 trillion to 17.7 trillion between 2000 and 2021. They're playing a long-term strategic game while we're trapped in short-term political cycles. The pattern suggests we're in stage 7, approaching stage 8. But the pattern also shows us something else. Stage 8 isn't inevitable if stage 7 is recognized and addressed. The question is whether we have the will to change course before the mathematics of empire collapse takes over completely. The warning signs aren't subtle anymore. They're screaming at us from every direction, but most Americans are too distracted by the circus to notice the tent is on fire. Consider what happened to previous empires at stage 7. They all exhibited the same behavioral patterns. Excessive focus on entertainment and diversion, while real problems festered. Rome had bread and circuses. Britain had cricket and tea-time social rituals. We have social media, streaming services, and 24-hour news cycles designed to keep us consuming rather than thinking. The welfare state expansion that Glubb identified as a hallmark of decline is happening in real time. We've created the impression that prosperity will always be automatic, causing us to spend lavishly on benevolence until the economy can't support it. Entitlement spending now consumes 2/3 of the federal budget and growing, while productive investment in infrastructure, research, and education stagnates. But here's the most dangerous part. The internal political divisions that mark stage 7 are reaching critical mass. Just like Byzantium fought civil wars, while Turkish armies approached the gates, we're tearing ourselves apart, while genuine external threats multiply. Instead of uniting against common challenges, we're treating political opponents as enemies more dangerous than foreign adversaries. The intellectual class that emerges in stage 5 has now turned completely against the founding principles. Universities that once strengthened national unity now actively promote ideologies that undermine social cohesion. The very institutions meant to preserve and transmit cultural knowledge are systematically dismantling the beliefs and values that built the empire in the first place. Immigration patterns mirror the historical decline phase perfectly. When empires reach stage 6 and 7, immigration increases beyond the capacity for effective assimilation. Not because immigration itself is harmful, but because declining empires lose the cultural confidence and institutional strength necessary to integrate newcomers successfully. The result is fragmentation rather than unity, division rather than shared identity. Economic fundamentals reveal the mathematical reality behind the decline. Our trade deficit exceeds 800 billion annually. We import far more than we export, just like Spain during its silver-fueled collapse. We're consuming more than we produce, borrowing from the future to maintain present living standards that aren't sustainable. The currency debasement that destroyed every previous empire is happening through monetary policy. Since 2000, the money supply has increased 400%. We're not mixing copper into silver coins like Rome, but we're achieving the same result through quantitative easing and deficit spending. The dollar has lost 98% of its purchasing power since 1971. Military overextension combined with recruitment crisis signals imperial exhaustion. We can't simultaneously defend Europe through NATO, counter China in the Pacific, maintain Middle East commitments, and secure our own borders. The math doesn't work. Yet we keep making promises we can't keep, commitments we can't honor. The evidence is overwhelming. America exhibits every characteristic of an empire in Stage 7 decline. The pattern that destroyed 11 previous empires over 2,000 years is playing out in real time. We've completed the cycle of pioneers, conquests, commerce, affluence, intellect, and decadence. Now we're deep in decline, staring at potential collapse. But here's what separates us from every empire that came before. We know the pattern exists. We can see the warning signs. We understand the mathematics of imperial decay. The question isn't whether this pattern is real, it's whether we have the courage to break it. History shows that empires in Stage 7 have two choices: accept managed decline like Britain, maintaining dignity while transitioning power, or fight reality until catastrophic collapse destroys everything like Rome. There's no third option. There's no magical return to previous glory. The pattern doesn't reverse. Maybe we can prove the pattern wrong. Maybe American exceptionalism really is exceptional. Maybe we'll be the first empire to reform itself before Stage 8. But the math says otherwise. The precedent says otherwise. And the warning signs say we're running out of time. If this opened your eyes to where we actually stand in the empire life cycle, subscribe, because when Stage 8 begins, you'll want to understand what's happening and why. The pattern never lies, and history is about to repeat itself once again.